Barnacle Bill the sailor, Barnacle Bill the sailor. Ahoy, 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 a ship ahoy! I'm old and rough and dirty and tough, said Barnacle Bill the sailor. I never can get drunk enough, said Barnacle Bill the sailor. I drink my whiskey when I can, my whiskey from an old tin can. Oh, whiskey is the life of man, said Barnacle Bill the sailor. We're off and go, we're off.
Yo-ho,
We're off.
yo-ho,
We're off and ashore. Back up and go ashore. We're off.
yo-ho, yo-ho.
Ahoy! I guess I wish you had the beer to stand. Now go, so scrub your decks and wash your necks. Oh boy, what a show! We twist the house for miles around. Come on, let's go, yo-ho, yo-ho, let's go. Hey!
A sailor's life is always wild.
And free.
We sing and we play. We wait every day. We're always broke when we go back to sea.
A sailor's life, the life.
For me.
Attention! No one leaves this ship.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! There!
Oh, yeah. That's the one.
Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door? Cried the fair young maiden.
It's only me from over the sea. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. I'm all lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. I'll sail the sea until I croak. I fight and swear and drink and smoke, but I can't swim a bloomin' stroke. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor.
Are you young and handsome, sir? Are you young and handsome, sir? Are you young and handsome, sir?
I'm old and rough and dirty and tough. I never can get drunk enough. I drink my whiskey when I can, whiskey from an old tin can, for whiskey is the life of man.
I'll come down and let you in. I'll come down and let you in. I'll come down and let you in.
Well, hurry before I bust in the door. I'll rear and tear and rant and roar. I'll spin you yarns and tell you lies. I'll drink your wine and eat your pies. I'll kiss your cheeks and black your eyes.
Sing me a love so low and sweet. Sing me a love so low and sweet.
Says the fair young maiden.
16 men on a dead man's chest.
Said Barnacle Bill the sailor.
Yo-hee-ho in a bottle of rum. Oh, hi, big a jig in a rolling sea. Ah-hee-yo-ho, you're the gal for me. Hurrah, my boys, for the Nancy Lee.
Sang Barnacle Bill the sailor.
Tell me that we soon shall wed. Tell me that we soon shall wed. Tell me that we soon shall wed.
I've got me a wife in every port. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. The handsome gals is what I court. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. With my false heart and flattering tongue, I courts them all, both old and young. I courts them all, but marries none. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor.
When shall I see you again? When shall I see you again? When shall I see you again?
Never again I'll come no more. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. Tonight I'm sailing from this shore. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. If you wait for me to come, settin' and waitin' and sucking your thumb, so wait until the cows come. I'm Barnacle Bill the sailor. Goodbye.
Oh, well, that's it. I know what
Let's go!
And one fish, two fish. And I don't hear myself. Is it because the speakers are in the wrong spot? That's the reason right there. That's the reason right there. All right, speakers are set up better. That's the reason right there. All right, speakers are set up. Twitch is good. Let's double check the YouTube. Let's go over there. And head over to the live stream. Let's go over there. And head over to the live stream. Okay, I seem to be fine over on YouTube as well. All right, today I am actually working on a dress. I'm in the middle of doing the Morse for Genesis 9. Everything looks and sounds excellent. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the morphs on this. Since Emerga's here, I'll do a little bit of work in Blender, and then we're going to come back to this dress and stuff. Textures. I'm going to start setting up the textures. I'm in the middle of cleaning up the morphs for the Genesis 9 version, so we're going to do that. I think after this one, I might do the rogue outfit, which means I'm going to probably make some knives that'll go on the forearms. I think we'll do that. I'll have to see where I left off with that. I haven't looked at that outfit in a couple of weeks. But we'll model some throwing knives or something. Don't change the sketch. I can adjust. I'll be cooking 5 and thus lurking. So we'll pop over to Blender for a little bit. I still have a bunch of morph work to do on this one. So we're smoothing out the morphs. You can see I left off with the breast shape 01, and you can see how janky that is. So we're going to pop that into Go Z. But before we do that, we pop over to here. I need to copy the name of that morph. Then we can pop over to the ZBrush and say OK. And ZBrush opened up on screen too, because why not? It was on screen one before. I don't know why it felt like it couldn't stay there. I have to kind of figure out how to get you moved back over. There we go. And then I'm just going to smooth those out. We'll make that a little bit larger. And we'll just run through there, smooth that bad crease out. This is deforced, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But we want it to look a little less janky. And this isn't exactly symmetrical, so I'm not using the symmetry feature in ZBrush today. If these breast shapes were a little more symmetrical, I probably would, but I think they're way off, so that's probably going to work against me doing something like using symmetry here, or the mirroring, or whatever ZBrush calls it. It's always a different adventure in every program, isn't it? And I'm just going to build that out, smooth it some more. We're probably good. Unfortunately, it gets rid of some of these cool wrinkles when I do that, but it makes the morph work better. And let's do that. Come over here and accept. And it smooths it out onto the next one. So we're just going to try to run through these. Try not to spend too much time, but most of my stream isn't the most exciting stuff. I do realize that. A lot of it is tedium, like this. Fix the morphs. I think what I'll do is, after I fix these morphs, we'll set up the directory for the rogue outfit. And I can kind of try to figure out where I left off. I think I made pants and a top. I was going to make a cape for that, but I wasn't happy with the cape I had so far, so I'm going to rework that. And we're going to have armbands, and I'm going to put knives, kniffies, knives on the armbands. Yes, I know. There's stuff that's more exciting. Watching stuff being modeled, I think, tends to be more exciting than watching me just smooth morphs. And I think Substance tends to be a little more fun to watch because you're getting cool textures and stuff out of that. All right, that's probably going to be good enough for that one. Let's hit the Go Z button. Let's come over here. Drop that morph name in there. Overwrite. Accept that. Probably close enough. Undo. Roll. Dial in the next one. None of these came in well, did they? Pop over here. Grab that file name. Pop over here. Say yes. I'm going to make my... I'm trying not to smooth it too much, so I'm trying not to make the brush too big, and I'm trying to run up and down along the flow in hopes that it'll not be too bad. And I smooth out and I build up and I take away a little bit to try to help keep some of that. It's probably going to be good enough for that. All right, onto the brush shape for cooking time. All right, we'll catch you later, man. Have fun with the cooking. Bum, 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 bum. Copy that. Hit that. Say accept. Smooth, 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 smooth. This is one of the rare times where I actually had the smoothing cranked all the way up to 100. It just seems to be works out well this time. And sometimes I just kind of like fill in a little bit and then smooth it back out. Oh, phone's doing stuff. Uh-oh, update winter storm. Still. What do we think? It's supposed to run until Monday evening. It's going to start overnight. Other parts of the country are already in the middle of it. We are slated to get 12 to 18 inches of snow. Oh no. It's cold though, so I'm hoping it's going to be light and fluffy. And there'll be a bit of a breeze, so I'm hoping it won't stick in the trees too well. That's my optimistic part. On the other hand, I did go get kerosene. You know what? That one looks fine. I'm not touching that. That one looks fine. Those are the small ones. I like how that went fine. Breast size small. It's probably okay. You know what? Yeah, it's probably okay. I'm not gonna smooth that one out. And now we're on the pecs. I see we can use a little bit of smoothing there. Where I get these harsh creases, that's where I pop in and smooth. If I'm not seeing stuff like that, I'm figuring good enough. And granted, pecs are probably male morphs, but even though it's a female outfit, I will kind of account for those as well. That actually what? Yeah, it's probably good enough. With the pecs, I probably should have dialed back the strength of the smoothing a little bit. Oh well. It looks fine. Pec diameter looks good. That height, I think, looked fine. Height outer. I gotta fix these so they don't move the lower part of the dress. One of these days, I'm gonna redo all my morphs. That, I think, is bunching up just a little bit under the breast there. That sag. So we'll pop over here. I still have to run out to the store again, too. My partner remembered something she needed, even though I had been out earlier today. Dang it. Did you stop doing stuff? For a second there, I thought it just stopped. It's probably good enough. Except that I might do this later on with the Genesis 8 on stream. We'll see how things are going. Pack size looks okay. Under the curve is fine. Width is good. All right, now we're on to the body morphs. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit right through there, and we'll double check. I'm not getting any. This is outfit is a little floaty, but we're going to tighten it up a little bit using the D-force through here. Anywho, what are we on? We're on body emaciated. So let's pop over here. I'm going to go back up to here, and there's that body emaciated. I have to come over here and activate the Go Z brush, Go Z to get all of that in there. And you know what? I'm going to lower that down, and I think I'm going to make my a little smaller. And then I can kind of repunch in. I probably should have just been doing that earlier. Control V, overwrite, accept, looking good. All right, body fitness detail. It's so in body fitness mass. You know what? That looks good. We'll dial in body fitness. Looking fine. Body heavy. All right, you got a little bit of work under the breasts there, and maybe some in the back. But I already can see that we're going to edit this, so I'm not looking at the back. We'll roll the back and we'll take a look at that in ZBrush and see if there's anything that needs to be touched up there. Okay. Probably good. One of the things is I can't tell if I need to fix anything. So I gotta fix those. And you know what? We're gonna make that brush bigger. I'm just gonna pull out like that. And I'm just gonna maybe pull a little bit along through there. Probably good. Double check the color because I haven't really been paying attention to the color. Activate GoZ. Paste. Overwrite. Accept. Looking good. All right. Body width looks fine. I should take a look at the back too while I'm doing these. Just because it looks fine from the front. Okay, muscular details. Probably mass. Details. I don't see anything. Mass is looking mostly fine. Sometimes body muscular should just be both of them, but sometimes it's a little different. So I think that was I seeing the butt popping through there? I was not. Okay. Older, thin. All right, that needs to be touched up. Tone and mass. Okay. I'm going to redo these from the front. Older. All right, I got a little bit of a crease on the older. So we're going to clean that up. I'm going to make that brush smaller again. And we'll just kind of smooth that. All right, so I think older is good. Okay, and I know I saw, oh, that thin. I really got to redo that thin morph. I have a figure I use to help auto generate those, and that thin one I'm using is just garbage. So I'm gonna clean it up now. Someday I'm gonna remember to fix that. So here, we're gonna make our brush larger, and this is mostly just pulling this stuff up. Let's smooth through the chest first, and then we'll make sure everything. Because I got this little bump right in there, right? And then after I clean that up, then we'll go make the brush larger and pull everything up off like that. Then I'm going to make this a bit larger, and I'm just going to run through there like that. I'm going to kind of assume that I've got some stuff touching underneath there. I can't see it, but I'm going to have to just kind of guess. So we're just going to pull all of that out. And that should be good. Just to double check the ribbons because I keep forgetting about those. And you are thin and overwrite and accept, and that is a bit better. Okay, body tone is looking okay. Body mass, we already looked at that from the back, so that's looking good. So we're down to like the last four here. Body pair figure is good in the front. I'm going to have to clean up voluptuous. Portly could probably use a little bit of cleanup under the breasts. Stocky's looking fine there. And just double check these in the back. All right, so pair does need to be cleaned up, so we'll do that. And I'm just going to run through here real quick because I can't see what's under. But if I'm getting a little bit like that, I'm going to kind of assume that partially I'm having maybe some issues. All right, let's hit the go Z. Let's do the thing. All right, we know we do need to work the voluptuous, and you can see it's getting there, and I needed to smooth out under the breasts on that one. So I did spot that, and we're just going to kind of touch through there. And right in here, make that brush smaller. And we'll just kind of smooth that out. I'm going to make it even a little bit smaller, and I'm going to kind of just punch some of this detail back. Probably good. And I already got the back. All right. Go Z. This should be voluptuous, excellent, overwrite, accept. All right, we've got two more. Portly. Oh, I was doing the backs. The others were. You know what? I think that's fine. I got to touch the stocky up. I saw a little bit of poking through there before the smoothing kicked in. That's one of those things where I probably get away with that, but we can do a little bit better, and we're right here. Oops. Dang it. Accidentally hit the undo, which means it went back to the last one. There we go. I want to actually smooth that out just a hair. Right through there. Just a pinch. I think that'll probably smooth out in Daz anyhow, but... And then I saw a little bit of... So we're going to pull this out a little. Should be good. So that takes care of cleaning up the body morphs. We're going to clean up the presentation of the morphs and then save those out for the dress for G9. So let's come over here and we'll come into actor and we'll switch into edit mode. And first things first is we're just going to select everything over here. And make sure we've enabled the limits. Oh, and I'm not here. Let's reset you. And then come back to the dress. All right, now we're going to change colors and regroup this and clean up the names of these. So I'm going to select all of those. These are all going to be green color A and black color B. So I'm going to set presentation and green. That's the green I use. That's the black I use. There we go. They're all the same color. Now we're going to set the property group to be actor adjustment. Do that. I probably have duplicates between these and some of these and things I don't need. You know what? I don't need loosened ankles. So I'm not going to clean that one up. We're going to run over to the data folder and delete the ones we don't need in a minute after we save this. And I've already got a loosen buttocks there. I've got a loosen midriff right there. Loosen neck we have. Skirt above knee. Skirt below knee. I don't even know if I need skirt below knee. I don't need the skirt below knee. We're going to get rid of this. I'm probably going to end up deleting all of these. Skirt mini we have a copy of. Skirt short is there. Waist lower, waist upper. So you know what? I don't need to clean these up. We're just going to delete them out in the data folder. So here, let's save all of that. And now we're going to take a quick run over to the data folder. Then we're going to make some knives and maybe sheaths and blenders. Then we'll come back and start doing materials. And I may do the... So what we just did here with this, I still have to do for the Genesis 8 version of this dress. Bum, 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 bum. Where am I going? Projects. Dress. Nope, I went too far. Dresses. Sassy heat wave data. Me. Sassy heat wave. This is the dress. Sassy heat wave dress. Genesis 9. And we're going to get rid of the morse we don't need. So we are looking for right down here. So expand all we keep and the rest of these right here. I can get rid of. Because if we look down here, we have other duplicate versions of those. I could get rid of these characters, but I think I'm going to leave them in there. So I think we're good with that. And I think I'm good with this. So I don't think I have to save this. So let's get rid of that. And let's go take a look at where I left off with the... Let me see if I made arm things. I still have to detail them up, I think. And because we're done with this, I basically have to relaunch this anyhow. So we're not going to save that when I go do the Genesis. And you know what? I'm going to shut down Daz for right now. Because I have to relaunch that to get GoZ to work properly for something different. While I'm over here, I'm going to quickly... No, I don't need that. I'll get to that later. Never mind. I'm kind of talking to myself. Let me see where I left off with the rogue outfit. I was starting the rogue outfit, and then I think I can't remember if I finished up the do. I think I didn't. I think I then did the do light instead. And I just submitted. I just hit submitted, which was one of the reasons why I was a few minutes late to stream. The Crossroads outfit to Daz. Valkyrie says she's done with her add-on, so she should be submitting as well. The next one is the Sassy Heat Wave. After that, I think I'm going to swing back to this rogue outfit. I started it, and I kind of lost interest because of how complicated it was. And I've kind of smoothed out my belt. pipeline, so I'm going to come back to this. I wanted to add a belt, but I didn't feel like dealing with a belt at the moment. But I ended up dealing with a belt for the Crossroads outfit, so I'm going to kind of use that, bring it into here. And what am I doing? I'm doing an open project. There we go. And we're going to, this is over in my fantasy folder. And I can't see anything because I got Marvel's Designer in the way. And I don't know, did I put you here? Did you? I was calling you Night Vale, wasn't I? There's a whip, and there it is. Outfit. We did simple short boots. I have this outfit. I think this is where we left off. There's my cape, and I'm not liking that cape, so I'm going to redo it. Oh, there's my armbands. I'm going to export those out. I think those are looking good. I was I've got a placeholder for a belt, but I think I'm going to swap that out for a better belt, is what I'm thinking. And I think I'm gonna lean it this way. And we're gonna put some pouches on and maybe a pouch here. But today we're gonna just do a little bit of, I'm gonna mount some small knives onto each arm. So I'm gonna export these two together and call them armbands. I may or may not. I don't think I'm going to deforce these, so when we get them over in the blender, we're probably going to detail them out in Blender. So it'll actually have real details because it doesn't need to be deforced. Um, Unlike this, and there's that pain in the ass. But I got it to work. Never again am I going to make laces that thin because these things are very unhappy. Maybe someday if I get a better computer, but this 5mm lace knot is just really tweaky to get to play nice. In the future, if I do laces, they'll probably be twice as thick as that. Unless I win the lottery and buy a new computer. And if anything's happening in chat, I'm not seeing it because I've got Marvel's Designer full screen. Nope, just Emerga. Can I get you up here? There we go. Anyhow, let's export. Do I want to just export these as a single figure? I think I will. That'll be a figure. Pants will be a figure. I'm going to make a separate belt figure. And we're going to have a cape figure. And we have boots. But for today, I'm just going to grab that and that. And I'm going to call that bracers. File export OBJ selected. I do have the folder. I don't know if I've got it set up in Daz yet, though. Oops, wrong way. Fantasy Night Vale. There we go. And in here, we'll do Night Vale bracers. Oh, you know what? You're still Genesis 8 female. So I'm going to say bracers, and we'll get rid of it. And we'll just put an F on here. And are you thin and welded? You are. Okay. I'm not going to save this, but I'm going to fit the bracers to Genesis 9 base. Let's do that. Actually, and I'm going to do it this way. Let's activate. Let's deactivate pattern and sewing. Let's hide everything. Let's just grab this and this. Let's activate that. All right, we're back. My camera's still off. Go, Napsmore. Make for G9 and backfit to G8F. Yes, that's the way I do it. I actually make it for the G9 feminine shape. Then I fit that to G9 base, and then I fit the feminine shape to the G8 female. That's my process. Today I'm just in here and I just want to make some. I want to do a little bit of blender work, so we're just going to fit these to the base figure, and I'm going to make some throwing knives that'll attach to the bracers. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Anyhow, I want to fit this, and I'm not going to save this when I get done. We're going to fit these to Genesis 9 base, export that out, and that's going to be the starting point for the bracers. I'm trying to think how much detail I want to do on the bracers that's just going to be texture and how much I want to model. Because these don't have to be deforced, so I don't really need them to be super thin and flexible. Like boots, I can model thickness and stuff into these. Although I still may not do that because it's just easier to. I may do that. I can fit it with Blender to the Genesis 8 female. Anywho, what am I doing? I'm going to make these come back to life. There we go. And we're going to morph this to the base figure. That's what we're doing. Activate, add to workspace, load as a morph target, say OK. It's resizing and it's done. I don't think my naps, I still have to finish my naps more command. I think. we I have the sounder. I just haven't added the shout out part to it yet. Oh no, wait a minute. It is doing the shout out. Never mind. It was just slow. The shout out came after the sounder was almost done. Anyhow, check out our friend Napsmore. Over on Twitch. I don't know. Did that show up on Twitch? I'm gonna do it again. I just want to make sure. I'm not sure that's getting mirrored over to YouTube. Okay, this time I'm not touching anything. I think it does the shout out on its own. And you know what? I think it's just timing it so it comes out. Saw it on Twitch. Yeah, but I don't think my bot's mirroring it over to YouTube. Hola, Mr. Atherin. How are you doing today? I'm going to take a quick peek over to my YouTube because I don't think it's over there. No, it's not. I got to get it. I don't know. I have to get into the streamer bot and figure it out. Just working on the VN. Cool. All right, we're done. We're done. We're exporting this. We're exporting the bracers out, and then we're going to take them into Blender. Uh, File, export OBJ selected. Right there where it says bracers. This is just going to be G9 like that. Cox's primary export. What bracers for G9? Thin, weld, looking good. Okay. I think that's, I'm not going to save this, so we're going to shut this down and we're going to go play in Blender now. Boom. And now Blender, activate Blender. I think I did get the 5.0.1 installed. There we go. let's put you over there. So let's bring Blender over here. After I'm done making the throwing knives, we're going to go back into Daz and work on texturing the Sassy Heat Wave dress. So let's load in those bracers. Activate, import, projects. Fantasy, Night Veil, Whip, and that one right there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to... I don't even need those in the right spot. I just need to copy one of these. Control L, Shift D, separate. Let's grab that. Let's look at this from the front. Let's rotate U, Y, 45. Let's reset. Set origin to geometry. Let's rotate UZ 90. You're almost there. Let's put you down right about there. This is just a reference for sizing, honestly. Kind of gives me an idea of how big I want to make, because I want to attach a dagger and a scabbard onto each arm. So this just kind of gives me an idea. How much, what is that, like 4 inches? Let's go, I'm going to go shopping. Can you buy knives at Amazon? Throwing knives at Amazon? Let's find out. I have to log out on Amazon because I'm not going to dox myself by accident. At least that's the plan. You can buy, well, almost anything. I hear tell finding swastikas is hard. You can get cocaine. Oh man. All this time I could have just cut the dealer out and just gone to Amazon. Throwing knives. Throwing knives. What I'm looking for is a good measurement for what makes for a good hand. And then I'm just going to make my own blade size. I'm not concerned about the blade, but I am kind of interested in what makes a good handle size. I guess I could Google that too. I don't know. Let's see if we get any nice pictures here with measurements. That actually looks small. That actually doesn't look too bad. I need, you know what? Let's just good handle handle size for throwing knives. 3 to 7 inches. Thanks. That was not throwing knife size. Blade forms. How to determine handle length, fixed blade. 5 and 2/8. You know, that's like what is it? 5 by 25 is about 130. We're going to call it 130 millimeters. I think I'm going to do that. Maybe a 4-inch handle would be okay though. That would be like 100. Or 10 centimeters. So maybe somewhere, I don't know. I'm going to go with 120 and we'll see how that looks. And see if that gives me enough room to actually have a blade. So we're going to start with a cube. We're going to size our cube to 0.12. See, that's a bit more. Let's size the cube down to 0.1. It's going to be mostly handle, isn't it? I wish I had a ruler or something with me. Hold on. I'm looking. I'm seeing if I got a tape measure floating around. I typically do, but I never know where I leave that stuff. You over there, Mr. Tape Measure? Nope. Over in here. I don't feel a tape measure there. Now, you know what? I think I'm probably just going to shade it under 4 for now. We'll get the camera back here. Um, so let's tab in. Let's scale on the Z. Scale on the X. I'm going to kind of put a slight curve on that. Let's drag you down a little bit. I think we'll take that in a little like so. Palm, yeah. Is that about 3 inches? A little bit less, maybe. You could probably get away with a little shorter, but still. I think I'm going to, we'll go with this and we'll see how it looks. All right, I'm going to pull this out for the blade. So what I want is, I'm going to want it to come to about here. This is going to probably bend a little bit. And maybe if we go a little bit long, it'll probably be okay. So maybe we set you up in there. I'm going to put a cut through here and a cut through there. Like there and there. And then I can turn this into a quad and we can pull that out. And that'll be the blade. So actually, let's do it like this. And then I'll bring it to a point. Let's put a cutty thing in here and I'll do that. I think I'm going to, that might be a good start. We'll do that. And we put a cutty thing through here. Like so. And we'll just do an extrude. And that's going to become the blade. And at some point, I'm going to merge all of this stuff together. So we bring that like so. Scale you a little like that. And I think I'm going to do an extrude and pull, and that'll become, if I just merge you all at the center, is that what I want? Yeah, that kind of does the trick. And then we'll just adjust the shaping from here. How long is that? I'm trying to see where that's lining up. Elbow's here, so that should probably, that might sit over the elbow. It won't get caught inside the elbow. That's what I'm thinking. So if I make it a little long and it sits like so, I can probably be okay with that. I'm thinking that still looks a little thick. And you know what? I think I'm going to cheat. We'll see. We'll see how this looks. I'll probably need to adjust some of the sizing stuff later. I think for these, I'm going to pull that back a little like so. Let's try the bevel trick. If I bevel, I can kind of smooth it out like that. Think about throwing knives if they have to have balance so they rotate predictably. Oh, that's right. It's a fantasy throwing knives. We don't need no stinking balance. The prop department will put it on target for us. I'm gonna put a little bit of a bevel there, but I don't want too much. It's mostly kind of a chamfer on that, just to round it out a bit. And I'm going to give this a little bit, I think I'm going to have a little indent here and here, and then we'll bow it out just a little bit through there maybe. So let's put a cut there and a cut there. I'm going to move you back a little bit. Select you and move you forward a little bit. We'll scale that. I'm going to scale it a little bit so it comes just in a little, like so. Then I'm going to scale that on the X. And then we're just going to scale. So just, and you know what? I think I'm going to pull you back. And maybe bring you forward a little bit. And we're just going to bevel those to smooth it out. And then I'm going to bevel that to kind of give it kind of curve through there. So I think that's mostly the shaping for the knife. I'm going to add a little bit of detail on the end, I think. But other than that, and then I'll make a scabbard and we'll see how that goes. This is me thinking. Don't panic. I don't want to see X-ray anymore though. I think I'm going to pull this out. Put a little bit of a detailing shape on the end of this. I gotta go in edit mode. I knew that. Nope. Too far. Nope. I'll just do these one at a time. Oh, you know what the problem is? These are end guns on the end. We can fix that later. So do an extrude. I'm gonna pull you out. I'm gonna put a bevel on the end of this. It doesn't wrap all the way around because of these end guns here, 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 and here. This one I'm just gonna chamfer a bit, like so. And I'm gonna put a little bit of a notch in here. Like so. I'm going to add a little bit of a detailing right in here, kind of similar. I probably should bring that back a little bit, or bring this out, separate these, and then connect and put a little bit of a detailing. I can do it this way. So I'm going to select around here. I'm going to do a little bit of a extrude faces. Nope, wrong thing. I want to do a little extrude along normals and just pull that out a little bit like that. But now I don't need this, so we can just dissolve that. Let's try that again. Dissolve edges, there we go. It helps if you use the right command. Put a little bit of a break on here. Can't be big. Otherwise, we're going to clip that blade. And then I'm also going to do the same thing I kind of did here. Add just this little notch right through, I think there. I think that's good. All right, let me build a sheath. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I think I'm going to just steal this row right here and extrude it and build out of that. That right there. I'm going to make that maybe a little bit larger just so it's not actually touching. So we're going to do that and separate it. Tab out. There we go. Tab in. Scale it just a hair. And most of the time, almost time to start cooking. Well, get to cooking. Is it the smoker? You talk about that smoker all the time on your stream, dude. That reminds me, I gotta make a sage sound. We don't have a sage sound yet. My normals need to be flipped. I can already tell that. Not that you can see it, but if we do this. Oh no, everything's backwards. That means these normals are fine. These normals are all backwards. Let's fix that. 3A. Mesh. Normals. Flip. Yay. And there was much rejoicing. 40 times better? Oh no, it all turned red. Actually, I'm going to do let's do that, and then we'll do this. And I'm going to figure out a way to seal that and make it look cool. We're going to do the old, I need to select that and that. And we'll do the old bevel trick. Smooth that out a little bit. And now I just need to cap this. I'm going to delete these out. And actually, you don't really need, I don't need these that far down. So I'm going to just, you know what, take a couple of, that's probably good enough. Just delete that out from the inside. You'll never see it. You'll never see it. Let's fill, I might have got the wrong tool. Let's fill that. Scale on the X. Actually, let's just scale that, cancel that. Kind of like that. And then I think if we, good old bevel. I'm almost there. I'm figuring we're getting there. I'm going to put a cut in here and we'll smooth this out. We can't leave that end gone there. Bad end gone. Bad end gone. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pull that out a little bit to round it out a little. We're gonna do that again, and then we're just gonna merge that at the center. And then I'm just going to pull you out a little. And actually, what if I do... I'm experimenting now. If we say circle with that, and then scale Z and scale X, bring it to a shape like so. Whoops. My clipping's too close. Let's change that. Make that smaller so I can zoom in without clipping. And you know what? I'm just gonna what I did over there. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Circle, scale Z, scale X. Kind of give me a little more rounded tip. And if I do that right there, I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to add some detail in here as if it's like straps or something. Well, you know what? Clever me would line these up with the straps. Clever me's not that's gonna be needs to be straightened up later on. Maybe we just set it up. Nah, I'm just gonna do a little bump on that, and then we can just stick this wherever. I'm gonna I'm gonna fix those normals though. That's just driving me insane. There we go, all better. And I think I'm gonna put a cut there. And I think that one's good there. So we're going to grab that and bevel those just like that. And then we'll extrude along normals and pull that out just a little bit, like so. And I want to tweak that just a hair, like that. Like that. And that's going to give me my sheath. I'm going to call it sheath and sheath bands. And then this is going to be dagger, handle, hardware, and blade. So this is going to be hardware, that's going to be hardware, this will be handle, and the rest will be blade. And I think for UV mapping, I'm probably just going to run a seam right through there and right along here. Like kind of, I'm going to get an inside and an outside, and that I'm just going to run a seam right through the middle, so it'll be two flat pieces is what I'm thinking. And then in the top, and we'll split the top off. All right, let's boom, new knife, blade. Oops, somebody's got cap locks on. And by someone, I mean me. All right. Knife handle. And knife trim. I'm going to just call it trim. Okay, you're going to do it like this. Tab in, select that and that, and then I'm just going to, I should be able to expand that right to there. And that's the handle. And I think for this and this, I can just expand that like so. That will become trim. And that needs to be also trim. So that's good for that. Let's take the Mark a seam with that. And you know what? I'm going to mark a seam there and then clear this one. Getting some trim. Yes, sir. All right, we're going to mark seam element right there. And I'm going to run a line through that. All right, if we need you, we'll be looking in the gutter for you, dude. And this is going to be knife sheath and then knife sheath trim. I'm going to do it that way. Boop. Kniffy sheath. How do you spell sheath? Yeah. How sad is that? Sheath. Hey, I got it right the second time. Um, and we'll put the trim here, here, and here. Expand that, and assign. And what we actually want to do is I want to put the center right there so it'll sit in a hand. Having this line up with a hand is the most important thing for this arrangement, I think. So our center is right there. And we're going to put both of these on the same UV map. So we'll pop over here. Oh, that didn't go all the way through or something, did it? I have to... this is looking... yeah, we need to do some tweaking here. Oh, it didn't cut through the second half. Oh no! Let's try to fix that. There we go. Mark seam. Let's see how that goes. That's better. All right, let's fix the blade. You can always use swords and knives with anything, right? I've already done that with one of my things I submitted. Um, I took the sword and the sheath for one thing, and the boots. The sword and sheath and boots for one thing, and combined it with another. All right, I'm gonna hide you. We're gonna tweak you. I'm gonna do this one material at a time, and I have to figure out, right in here. That's where it's not. Oh, it didn't go all the way through. That's the problem. When I marked the seam, it didn't. I thought it would just go, but there's a triangular. Oh, I still have these goofy end guns in here. We got to fix those. 3A. Select by trait, something like that. I think it's faces by sides. And we want greater than 4. Did that not work? Because I have everything selected already. Let's try this again. There we go. So those are the bad boys. We're just gonna slack and face, triangulate faces, and then I'm just going to, and I'm not even paying attention to how good of a job this does. Tries the quads. If there's anything to be fixed, that'll fix that. All right, now let's try to read 3AU. That's better. That's what it's supposed to look like. We can live with that, I think. And Alt H. I'm going to save this file, save as, not sassy. I'm still in dresses, fantasy, night veil, whip. We're going to save it right here. Night veil. Knives. Save that. Okay, got that. Got that. Tab A U. There we go. So this is all. I'm going to also make colors for this while we're in here, and then I can also save it for substance. There we go. Let's start with the blade. You can't see the blade. Also, I'm switch to that so we can kind of see the colors. Not that you can see the blade because it's covered by the sheath. The skin is sheath. It's a sheath. It's a knife. Handle. Knife trim. Knife sheath. Sheath trim. There we go. And I may tweak this later, but this is the starting point. We're going to make a copy of this. Let's go back to layout. Let's Shift D that. And I should name this stuff over here, right? How clever would that be? Night veil, knife. Night veil, sheath. And we'll put the sheath over there. And we'll put the knife over there. These are what will go to substance when we texture it up later. Actually, I can just say that now while I'm still here. Activate export. Night veil knives. Do I have a? Nope. We need a new folder for substance. And I'm going to come over here, hit my Daz presets, so we do the selected only, and we're doing materials. All right, I got to do that once more for substance because the one I actually load in the substance has to have no materials on it. Okay, I think that's going to be good for today, at least for this. So we're going to go back to Emerga popped in, and when Emerga pops in, I like to do a little bit of Blender. So, and then we're going to go back. When I actually see this in a hand, we might change the scaling and stuff. Because I have a feeling that it's going to be awful small looking. Also, we'll probably add... we'll add a morph that makes it pop longer. Sword length. Anyhow, that's going to be the start for this. I'm going to hit save on that. And maybe Monday or Tuesday we'll get back to this Night Veil outfit. But for now, we're going to leave that behind and we're going to pop over back into Daz? Yeah, Daz. And we're going to work on the textures for the sassy heat wave. Actually, let's add some special morphs. And then we'll work on the textures. I'm going to do the special morphs for the Genesis 9 version. And with the With the version, with it is as it is right now, I'm just going to add a couple of show left, show right, lift front, lift back morphs, along with some hanging and some on the ground morphs. So let's try that. So we're also going to launch whatchamacallit, Marvelous Designer, and use that to get my special morphs started. And this is where we left off with that. You know what? I'm going to put the material on here. I set up the, I don't have the right thing selected. No wonder that didn't work. Let's try this again. There we go. Mm. Oh, the indigestion's kicking in. Didn't I had a hot dog for lunch. Damn it. Maybe I should have had my apple today. I didn't have my apple. I got my milk, though. In this beautiful Zimzalabim mug. Check out Zimzalabim. I'm not sure what the rest of her Twitch name is. All right, let's switch this. We're gonna make the special. Some of the special morphs are for the feminine shape, and others will just work with the basic shape. Where's the Marvelous Designer when you need it? There we are. Anyhow, let's go back to open project. I'm going to head back to the dresses. Let's see how this goes. Sassy Heat Wave. Whip. I want that one there. Halter Tie Mini. That's what I was calling Sassy Heat Wave before I settled on a name for it. Okay, are you the... You're the male shape. I'm going to switch you back to female. Which one did I open? I opened up the basic shape. Oh, boo-hoo. Accidentally saved. All right, well, let's switch it back to the feminine shape. That's the reason why that didn't work. Okay. Let me just double check file. I'm going to check out the other one I have and see. I did open this one, didn't I? I see that name right there. Yeah. You know what? I must have. I don't know. Let's load the feminine back in as a morph target just to make sure we're on track here. All right, it did something. I'm going to update my base feminine shape with this. Just to make sure I'm on the right page with it. OBJ selected. Yeah. Let's come over here and let's overwrite that. And let's just make sure all of this says trim and weld and say okay to that. And then we pop back into here. I have dialed in the feminine shape. I'm going to make sure that this lines up with that. So we're just going to update that right here with that and accept. And that didn't work because I have the Genesis 9 selected. Happens about a third of the time I tried to load morph targets. Accept that. All right, there we go. I may have to tweak my other morphs again, though. You know what? They're probably okay. Although my neck keeps moving, doesn't it? It's probably fine. It's probably fine. What am I doing? Special Morphs, right? So what special? We're going to do a lift front one and maybe two. We'll do a lift back, and I'll do a show left and a show right, and show both maybe. We'll start with the shows. I'm going to freeze all of this stuff here. And I'm going to freeze the tie and the collar. And then we're going to do this, and I'm going to see how this works. I might need to make that character stickier to get this to work better. Let's try that. I'm going to put you back. We're going to come over here and crank the friction way up. And now it'll want to stick better. And this will be show right, show enough, file, export, OBJ selected. You know what? I'm going to put a folder in here for the, that's the wrong thing. New folder. Press G9. Show right. Okay. I have to reset the static because I undid past where we set that. All right, we're good there. Okay. We'll do this. File, export, OBJ selected, show left. Okay. And since I'm right here, I'm just going to do this, show both. File, export, OBJ selected. Okay, we're going to double check and make sure these are loading in right. And then we just undo back to there. We'll run over here real quick and see how these load in, just to make sure I haven't done anything wrong. Choose the morph targets, press G9, there we go, grab those. 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like it worked. There we go. Then I'm going to do lift front 1 and lift front, maybe a lift front 2. I'm not sure how that'll work out. And then we're going to do one lift rear. So for lift front, I'm going to unfreeze this stuff down here. And I'm going to stick a little pen in here and drag it. And I'm still good there. All right. So we come over here. I'm going to use a pin lasso. Just grab kind of like that. We'll go from here. And we'll just pull up the front like so. Is that good? I'm going to tweak the orientation on that a little bit. I think that's good. File, export, OBJ selected. Lift front 01. Okay. I'm going to put this back down and I'm going to select 2 handles, I think, and see if we can get it up into here. maybe like that and like that. And then we run this in, and then I'm going to click on both of those. And let's see how this. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking that one's not going to really work, but let's see. We're not done just yet. You know, with that collar, I don't think that's going to work. I'm just going to do the lift. Yeah, we're just going to do lift front and lift rear. Maybe I'll do an over the shoulder, over the shoulders. We'll take the whole thing and just drop it over the head. All right, so grab that. Get a little piece of the hem here. We'll just lift that up. It's a cheeky pose. Yo, Charles, how are you doing today? I think that's good. File, export, OBJ selected. Lift front looks good. Although I'm going to change you to just say lift front. We're going to get rid of the O1 on that. I think I got a period in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift rear. Oh, yeah. Where am I? Thin, welded. Okay. And then I'm going to do. So these morphs I have to do over again for Genesis 8. Also, you know what? We're going to unfreeze everything. And I'm going to call this one over the shoulders. So we're just going to take this. Let's see how this works. If I can get this to kind of drop. I'm not sure this is a good idea. We're going to eventually have down morphs, but I'm also going to have an undone version of this. And I don't know if I'm going to stick with this. You know what? I'm not liking this. I don't think this is a good idea. We're not doing that. Never mind. All right. Now we're just going to do the hanging morphs and the on the ground morphs. So we're going to lose this. I'm going to bring in a hanger, and I'm going to set this up so it's on my generic hanger. Import add OBJ. I hide that over here in the projects folder. Begins with an H. Hanger 02. That's the one I usually use. So I'm going to put you right about there. We'll do that. I'm going to kind of let that relax a little bit. Oh, wait, I still got a pin in the back there, don't I? And now you can see how this dress is actually kind of doubles up on top of itself. I'm just going to let that settle. I'm doing well, enjoying what little time you have before the power goes out. Oh no! We're right in the middle of the roughest part of the ice storm. Yeah, good luck with that. I don't know if we're going to lose power or not. It's cold, which actually is good for a snowstorm. We are looking at like 12 to 18 inches of snow. which is an awful lot of snow, but because it's cold means it won't be so sticky and there's a bit of a breeze. So my fingers are crossed that it won't really stick to the trees. The worst is when the temperature is like 34 and it snows like 4 inches or 8 inches. We had that happen one October. We had like I think I want to say like 6 inches of snow, but it didn't actually get below freezing. So it comes down and it's like a slushy and it sticks to everything. You're right underneath the part that's called the warm nose or the upper air. Yeah, they were like talking to what in some parts like an inch of ice. Holy Toledo, dude. The upper air is warm and the rain doesn't freeze or turn to snow, and then what little cold air. Yeah. Anyhow, fingers crossed that you keep your power. Problem is, if you get this like every 10 years, then it invariably will take all the dead branches out. All right, I think that's good. This is hanging one. Oh no, save. I've completely lost my folder. There it is. Over here. Don't count on it. You live in the boonies, too many trees, and they're talking about almost 7/10 of an inch of ice. That is a hell of a lot of ice, dude. How cold is it going to get? I ran out and picked up my kerosene today just in case. I have a kerosene heater just in case. I'm trying to be optimistic that it's going to be light and powdery and not stick in the trees much, but still, you never know. I've had instances where we've lost power for almost 3 days. Freezing rain is nasty. It is. And then, and then if it freezes, oh, it's just the worst to walk on. I have literally not been able to walk on my walk sometimes. Just- you get a sheet of ice on, you do not stand a chance on that stuff unless you like got spiky shoes. Um, it's about 28 now. We have 2 propane heaters and 4 tanks. So, oh, excellent. And you have 3 battery backups to keep the internet up and running. Each of them will run 2.5 hours. All right, good luck with that. We're hoping the best for you, Mr. Charles. What am I doing? I'm saving my hanging morph. Hanging 01. We're going to do one more hanging morph. These morphs I can use with the Genesis 8 version as well. Because they're kind of agnostic. They're not really fitted to a figure shape. All right, we're going to back up to... Actually, I want to... Yeah, let's back up to here. I'm just going to put a little grab here and we're going to just hang on. We just put a little pin right in here. We're going to get rid of that hanger. This will be hanging morph 2. So basically we're just going to grab a point and let it just kind of hang out. Like so. I'm going to punch this up a little bit like that. Probably good. File, export, OBJ selected, hanging 02. Dun, 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 2. All right, then we're going to go back, say okay on that. So let's get our morphs loaded in here. You're my morph loader. You're the thing. I'm not going to get the hanging morphs, but we are going to get all of these. Let's say accept that. And show left, show right. Lift front looks good. And then we're going to reset this. Then I can load in the hanging morphs, but we'll do that in a minute. I'm going to back up to where the dress has most of its shape like that. And we're going to get rid of the hanger. And we'll do a couple of on the ground morphs. Actually, on the ground morph number 1. Just let it drop. Oh no, I still have a pin on there. I have to remember to delete the pin. There we go. All right, now we'll just let it drop. I'm going to add a little bit of thickness to this to help keep it from... And then we'll just kind of let that... We're just going to chill for a minute while this relaxes. And then we're going to do one where we're going to lay it flat, pull it out so it's on the ground but flat. This is like on the ground in a big bundle, like you just threw it. And then I do a version where it's on the ground, but it's like you laid it out a little neater. So I think that's good. I think it's settled. File, export, OBJ selected, on ground, 01. Okie dokie. All right, we're going to undo back to here. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of rotate you like that. Bring you down close to the ground. And then we'll just run this in and let it lay down flat. That didn't drop very nicely, did it? You know what? This is probably trying to come undone, isn't it? I wonder if I pin this, rotate, let it drop loose, then rotate it to the ground. Maybe that'll... Well, let's try this first. Let me see if I can get this onto the ground a little bit better. So it seems to want to go out that way, and it's because of the way this is rolled under. So maybe I just do kind of like that. And do that, and we'll see how this goes. That's acting a bit weird. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crank gravity. We're going to over crank. Actually, I don't even have gravity set to full. Let's set gravity to full and see how that goes. Yep. All right, let's try 5 Gs. Let's try that. It's still kind of getting caught in the middle there, isn't it? I'm going to let it keep doing that. We're going to reset the gravity back in a minute to normal. I think I'm going to have one more on the ground morph where I'm going to pull it out a little looser. So let's reset gravity back to normal, minus 9,800. Try that. Looks good. I'm going to call that on the ground too. On ground 02. I am going to do an on ground 03. We're going to unfold that middle part, which is folded in on top itself. Okie dokie. All right, let's back up to... Are you going to go back into where you belong? Like that. But I'm going to pin this, and then we're going to let this fall out. So use the pin lasso. I'm just going to kind of come through here. We'll just pop over here, get the back side of that. kind of. I don't want to grab that stuff on the inside. Let's see how that works. This is what I want to do. I want to unfold this. Oh, you know what? I got pins in there that are probably holding the inside. So let's stop that. Let's delete all my pins and redo. If I just come through here, it might work better. There we go. Dum, dum, dum. We're impatiently waiting. So I kind of want that to kind of hang straight and a little, and then we're going to turn it sideways and drop it down on the ground. Oh, now I've added too much momentum. Dang it. Probably good. Actually, so let's delete our pins. Let's grab all of this. Let's rotate it, and then we'll lay it flat on the ground. And I'm going to call that an on the ground morph. With that middle piece, I think I have you strengthened or something. I think that's what's going on. Or solidified. Maybe it was solidified. Maybe not. I can't tell. It looks like it's acting funny. I'm not seeing anything though. I think it's just you know, let's just let it drop. It eventually gets there. I'll see if we can just pull this out. I think I've got elastic in there. What are you doing? It's probably going to be close enough, I think. I'm overthinking this. All right, before I export it, I'm going to pop a little more thickness into it and call that good. File export OBJ selected. What time is it? Almost 3. We got still another hour. We can start getting going on the texturing on the ground. And maybe get the morphs finished up, the basic morphs finished on the G8, although I'll probably just do that tomorrow. All right, looking good. I'm not going to save this. No. I all of that stuff I did, I don't need to save. All right, let's load those in to the dress. And we just need to add the hanging and the on the grounds because we have the other ones already in here. Gonna accept those. Looking good. So it kind of does that. All right, looking fine. All right, let's go into edit mode. Let's change the colors of these and put them into over here an actor under special. So I'm going to set presentation and I'm going to use that color. I'm going to look up the name of that color. I keep wanting to know what that is. It's 128, 0, and 64. What does that mean in... This is like half RGB. We're going to do an RGB lookup. I think it's, I keep wanting to call it wine or burgundy or something. Anyhow, we've changed those. Let's set the property group to be actor. And I don't think I have anything that says special in here yet, so special. Accept that. It is now gone. Over here. I'm going to just save all the morphs. Find color name is what I'm going to look for here. From RGB. Can I not type? Damn it! I want to be able to. I don't want to have to type in the hex code because I don't have the hex code on the top of my lip. So we're going to try something else. Color name or color picker? No. Color. Find color name from RGB. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. 128, 0, 64. It's a type of purple, Tyrant purple. I've never heard of it before. We're totally not going to call it that. I'm totally not using. Yeah, come on, let me. Arg. What is it 88 or 99? 88 00 44. I guess 77 77. No, I need a little higher than that. 128 80 is 128. Oh, there we go. So you're probably 40, aren't you? Yep, there we are. This one says siren. I'm just gonna call it burgundy. Okay. So that is good. We're gonna set up some more materials. We'll do that. And also, I haven't decided on jewelry colors. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do a gold and a silver. And I quite haven't decided what. And then shoes. I think I'm ready to export out shoe colors. I have to kind of come up with a better idea for what I want for the jewelry, though. Here, let's load everything in so we can kind of see what we're working with. So we have our jewelry, which is an anklet, another anklet, a bracelet, another bracelet, and we have earrings, and we have shoes, and I have to save that with the post still. And I do have the basic shoe color. So we have gold shoes, and we have gold jewelry, and I've got this little pink starter set here. All right, close that file. Recent Sassy outfit. We have all three things on here. We have the jewelry, we have the shoes, and we have the dress all in here on separate UDIMs. And currently I'm set up for this. I have my shoes. And my shoes are going to be black, white, red, gold, tan, and turquoise. Gold is going to have separate metallicity and roughness maps. So let's get the black out of the way. Let's do that. So there's the black shoes. There's the black dress color. Do I have the jewelry in here? There's the jewelry. Let's do this and let's do it in black. This is the glass. I'm gonna play with this. Oh, did I not? Oh, because I still have the pink selected, don't I? There we go. We're gonna do that black. I'm gonna see if that line shows up or not when we save the map, and if so, I have to touch something up. Dum dum dum. The jewelry. We are tweaking the colors, and this is set up for a glass, and it's kind of a chromatic glass. But I think I'm gonna set it up for a black glass. Let's do that. And I have no idea why, because I've got gold underneath it. There we go. Let's try that. Actually, let's take you down. Let's see how this works out. And I think I've already got the shoes set up, good to go. So for this, I only really need, I do need the files from the shoes. I just need the color map from that, and then I need all the settings for this. Control Shift E. We're going to do the 6-channel UDIM. I'm going to export that. We're going to wait while it takes its time. And I can't see chat anymore because I've got substance in the way. As soon as this gets done, I'm going to rearrange chat, so I rearrange substance so I can see chat again. Alrighty, open the output directory. Let's come over here, close that, and let's put you like that. All right, let's take a look at what we have in the output directory. Okay, so I know I don't need that. I only need the color for the dress because we already have these maps done. And then for the shoes, shoes don't need an opacity map. I do think I have to use a different height, normal, and roughness map. Let's go take a look. And then this is, I'm going to try this for the glass only. We don't actually need a height map or a normal map for those. Roughness is black, so I think I can do that. I have an opacity map. You know what? I think I'm going to try to use that. And that's not so. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to go take a look at what we've got so far. Projects, dresses, sassy. So we're looking down in here and see what I've got, what I need to rework. So for the dress, no, it's the shoes. All of that says gold, except for, are those two fine? Those two are going to be okay, I think. I just need to... Yeah, okay. Where did my... Dang it. I lost my export directory. Dang it. There it is. Okay, let's set you... I can't see. I can't see. We need you to be large icons, and I need you to not to be all the way over there, but over here. And I just grabbed the wrong folder. Okay, so I don't need these for the shoes because we have working copies for that. This stuff is good. That I'm going to name black. No, that's for the dress, but it still needs to say black. That's for the shoes, so that needs to say black. Those are good. This is for the sassy outfit. These are for the glass jewelry. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say black on that. Oops. I'm going to say glass. And I'm going to put glass here. All right, let's copy that. Comes over to... What is going on up in here? Why do I got those weird flashes of color? That shouldn't be on there. Where are you coming from? All right, we're going to resave that. Okay, let's grab the shoes. Let's run over here to shoes and paste that stuff in there. Let's grab the jewelry maps. Let's put that over here into the jewelry. And I'm going to redo this and see if that clears up. I'm getting weird noise in here. I am kind of getting weird noise. I'm getting... Yeah, I'm getting strange bleeding in here. I think it's from my ID map is janked. So I'm going to try to clean up the ID map. In here. And I'm wondering, do I need to... I can probably just fill this whole area in with black, I think. So I'm going to just paint this all in with a mask. So here, we're just going to add... Is it right here? Add a fill... Nope. Add a paint. There we go. Like that. Set you to be black. Is that what I want? Or do I want... No, I want the white. Never mind. I'm going to have to copy this to all my other color layers. Why are you not... How am I painting? Am I not painting on the UVs? Is that what my problem is here? Tangent wrap. Let's switch it to UV. That's better. I think we should be good. Now when I save this, I should have a clean And then what I need to do is copy mask. Is it copy mask? And then paste. I think that's it. Yeah, and then I just need to paste this. Can I just do these with all these at once? That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would have been too easy. Damn it. I have to do them one at a time. Wah. Okay. Um, so if I do this, I'm just going to do the, all I need is this black mask redone. And actually, then we're going to set up the worn ones. We'll do that next. But anyhow, I need base color UDIM. We'll do that. Did I not hit the export button? I thought I did. Apparently not. Oh no, my butt's getting sore. All right, open the output directory. I don't need those because we already have them. Listen, we're just going to call you black. Okay, let's knock the white out. Which means turn you off, turn you on. I'm going to do that. Turn the black off, turn the white on. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the shoes. Black shoes off, white shoes on. And I just need the color maps for this. And I'm going to come over here. And this is white. This is white. This is silver. All right, let's organize that stuff. I'm going to put that over there on screen too. So silver jewelry color. Move that over there. So the black and the white dresses. And then the shoes. Okay, and then we're going to set this up for the worn versions. So da 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 dum. What do I need? Storm. And I can't see anything because it's too small. There it is. That one right there. There's my dirt. My dirt shader. Add that. And I'm going to do the pink and gold. Then we're going to do the black. And then after that, it's just a matter of cranking out color maps. So, because I need different metallic and roughnesses for the worn versions, and I need one set for this, and I need two versions for this, the gold shoes. And all the other shoes have separate roughness and metallicities. And likewise with the jewelry, there's glass jewelry and then there's metal jewelry. So they're probably going to need different metallicity and roughness maps. So what are we doing? let's do that. Let's do the gold shoes. And let's go back with the pink dress. And this should be good. I don't need any of the normal or height maps because those are used the same as the others. So this should be good. Control Shift E. I need to do I can just do 5-channel because I don't need opacity maps. Opacity map, same as what I've used before. I could have sworn I just hit that export button and it did nothing. It actually laughed at me. You probably didn't hear it, but I did. All right. We're part of the way through. Excellent. Okie dokie. There we go. All right, let's clean up the stuff I don't need. Do not need a height map. Do not need the normal map. Do not need the normal map. Do not need that height map. Don't need that and that. So that's the starting. So we're keeping these. I don't need that map either because that's black. And I don't think I'm going to do a version of this that's going to have shiny stuff. So we can get rid of that. The roughness map, I'm going to keep that. So let's name these worn. I'm going to copy that. And this is worn pink. And that's going to just be worn roughness. Okay, and this is, I'm just going to say worn roughness for the jewelry. We're going to have a version that's going to say worn glass roughness, but that's not this one. And that's going to be worn gold. And then these are actually the gold versions, so I'm going to call that worn gold there. And then this is also going to be worn gold and worn gold. Because the gold shoes are a little bit different than the rest. All right. So that's about half of the worn maps. All right, these I can move into the output, into the outfit, into the dress folder. Move here. These can get moved over to the shoe folder. Move here. These can go over to the jewelry folder. And move that. All right. So now let's do the black. Worn black. Okay, gold shoes off. Black shoes on. Gold jewelry off. Chromatic glass jewelry on. Okay, pink off. Black on. Okay. Control Shift E. I'm just going to do the 5-channel. Alrighty. Things I don't need. I don't need all of those. This is just black. Worn black. And I do need that. I don't need those two. And I don't need those two. So this is worn black. That's worn. Okay, this is worn glass. That is worn glass. And that is just, I'm just going to call it black because I'm not using a black metal. We'll do that. Okay. All right, these move over to the jewelry. Oh no, I have a black base color. Skip that file. You're supposed to be worn black, that's right. Those are the shoes. That just goes into the dress. Okay. Now I'm ready to just start cranking out colors. I have all the base maps done except for colors. Now we can just get colors knocked out. So, turquoise shoes. And we'll do this without the dirt first. You know what? I'm going to make turquoise glass jewelry. Let's duplicate this and kind of make it look turquoisey. Duplicate layers. Turn that off. Come into here. And you know what? I'm just going to just kind of sample colors out of here. I'm not sure how that'll... Oh, you still have... No, you don't. Why you got... Where are you getting that texture from? Jewelry. You're probably picking up something from back down in here, aren't you? Cotton blend shirt, aren't you? Yep, you're getting it from cotton blend shirt. Although I don't know why you aren't. What do you look like over here? See, you don't look turquoisey, do you? Do I even have... I do. I got that turned on. Where are you picking up that color from? I don't understand. I don't understand. I hide the dress. I hide those. You know, it really isn't generating. I'm probably just going to have to color it from somewhere else. Yeah, I totally am not understanding this glass color. I think I'll just have to color in Daz. We'll see how that works. So I'm not even gonna bother with that. Or maybe I just put a fill layer in here and just make it turquoise. maybe we just do that. And set it to be just for the jewelry map. You know what? I'm just gonna put a black mask on that, and then I'll put a paint layer. We'll add a paint to that. And I can't see. Why is my... Dang, dog. Why is my brush so big? set you to UV. Oh, look at that wacky. How am I supposed to paint like that with this really wacky sizing shit going on? What the hell? Actually, if I go to material, I should have been looking at base color. Yeah, I get no base color because of the glass effect. You know what? I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to tweak that because that's a little lighter than I like. Go with that. All right, turquoise, and I'm going to use whatever you are. What are you? You're the dotty thing, aren't you? Uh, yeah, I'm going to call that dots. You are Batik. You are Paisley. You are pink. Okay, there we go. Dots, turquoise, and turquoise. Control Shift E. We're just going to do the base color. Export that. I'll come over here and wait. I'm going to just call that turquoise. Now I'm just going to call that dots. And that's going to become... I can't spell turquoise. Who am I kidding? Turquoise, that's what I'm looking for right there. Why did that get us 2 on the back of it? Oh, I know. I used the wrong thing. I need the one that says UDIM. That way I get the UDIM number and the name like that right there. I want to capitalize that. Capitalize. And who knows, I may not end up using some of these colors. Alrighty, that is done. Let's move on to the next set. You know what? I'm just going to dupe you. Turn you off. I'm going to change this color after I figure out what the other ones I'm doing. Tan shoes. Maybe we just do a brassy color. I'm going to match the tan shoes with the paisley. And I'm just going to make that, I guess, a tan. There we go. We'll go with that. That might end up being a brass metal. We'll see. I think I'm just going to call it brass. I think that tan will look like a brass when made into a metal. How do you spell paisley? Damn you. Is there a Y in there? There's a Y in there. Okay. Or there's an E in there. There's the paisley for art. That's going to be tan. I'm going to call that one brass. Okay, back to... Did I do the whites? I think I did white with silver, right? I did. And we did the pink with the gold. And what are we on now? I'm going to do the batik, and that's kind of a lavenderish color. So I'm going to dupe you. Let's try that again. Control D. I gotta kind of try to remember Control D. And I don't know if I got shoes that go with this. What color shoes we're gonna go with? I'm gonna do this. This isn't gonna get a shoe color. So I got the turquoise done. I got that done. I got the gold done. I should have the black and the whites done, right? Which means the only shoes I have left are the reds, and I'll do that when I do the red. So I'm gonna stop saving the shoe color maps for right now. I think. Do I have white? Black. Damn, I capitalized that like shit. What the farfignugan? Oh, we're on screen too. I see how poorly I capitalized black. And I can't just recapitalize it. I have to, there it goes. No. It knows. It knows not to, I have to name it something with another character, and then I have to go in and get rid of that extra character, and then it changes the capitalization. And I got my white shoes. Okay, so I got the white shoes, got the tan shoes. We're all good here. I'm going to call that lavender. So we're just going to save this. That's going to be batik. That's going to be lavender. Let's try that again. Okay, so we don't need you. Teak. Lavender. I hope that's how lavender is spelled. All right, moving along. Where are we at? So we're done with those. I got the pink done. I got the green. We got green. And it's a light green. I'm going to call it a pale green. And I don't need any shoes with that. And do I want to make a matching green jewelry? I'm kind of thinking I'm just good with the green, and then we'll do a red. Let's do a green. Duplicate layer, turn that off. And do I want to just, I want to saturate that up though. Oh, that's chartreuse, isn't it? Almost chartreuse. I'm going to call it chartreuse. It's, I remember somebody liked chartreuse. I forgot who that was. I can't spell chartreuse, of course. Chartreuse. There we go. Chartreuse color. All right, let's export that out. Is good. Right there, chartreuse. I'm pretty sure that's chartreuse. It's in the ballpark. I'm going to call that pale green. All right, and then we just have the red to do. Okay, so I'm just going to dupe you. I'm going to make you red. And I always like the dark red. And choose the red shoes. And we'll go with the red dress. So I'm going to set some of these up, and I still have to save the colors for the worn versions. I may just do that later. I think we're done. I think we're done. All right, you are red. You are red. And you are red. Okay, take all of that. Move that over to the dress. Take these O2s. Move those over to the shoes. Get the 103s. And put them into the jewelry folder. Should be good. All right, let's see how the glass jewelry looks. Let me do the red. And we'll set up red glass jewelry with that. So I just have to change the color map here. This, I need to change the roughness, metallicity, and the color maps for the shoes. And then this has got changes for opacity and things. So let's grab that, come over to surfaces, pop that into there. We'll put this right here. Come down to dress. We're looking, I'm going to do the red dress. So that goes there. I'm going to do the shoes now. So this is the metallic gold maps. We're going to set this for the maps for the rest of the shoes, which means I'm going to use the red color here. We're going to start with the red one. That's gold metallic. That's metallic right there. So that I'm going to put that into there. You can see it's darker. It's not as shiny. There's the regular roughness. Goes there. I don't need to redo these two maps, so this should be good for the red shoes. And then we'll do the jewelry. I'm just going to do one part of the jewelry. And I'm going to set this up for glass. So I don't think the glass doesn't need a metallicity. I probably should tweak something in here for a glass setting, but I'm not sure what that is. You know what I should do? Maybe we just put a glass shader on here and go from there. I'm going to try, no, I'm not going to, I'm going to undo this. I'm going to try to do it without applying a glass shader to start with. Of course, now I'm doomed because it's now taking forever to apply my glass shader. All right, we're going to undo that. We're going to use the red glass. So I'm going to just drop you into the color. I'm not sure what the metallicity should be for the glass. I don't think, wasn't it black? I think it was black. I think that's why I didn't save it. There's a glass metallic. No, is it? It is. All right, let's use that. Did I have a glass roughness? I do have a glass roughness. All right, let's use, no, that's a worn. That's worn. That's a worn. No, that's glass, worn glass metallic, worn metallic, worn roughness. That's the regular metallic. There is a glass metallic right there. All right. Do I have a glass roughness? There's a glass opacity. I got the capitalization wrong on that. I'm not seeing the glass rough. Maybe that was white. Maybe that's why there isn't one. Which means, or it was probably black, which means I'm going to just take that and dial it all the way down. And I'm going to run a render on this just to see how this is looking. Actually, let's switch you over to iRay here in the viewport and see what that does. Why are you looking gold? Because it still has a color in here. You should be white. I'm not thinking I like the glass. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe we just did a dial back. Maybe I just lose that and we just dial that to 0.5 and I don't know. It's because it's so thin. It just looks like a. Maybe I just lose the glass idea. We just set everything as metal. I think I'm going to lose the glass. It's not it's not speaking to me. So everything in here that says glass, we're going to get rid of. So let me reapply the gold, and we'll just change the color maps on that. And I'm just going to set you to like that, and I have color maps for this stuff, right? I mean, that's just a solid color, basically. And then material preset, I'm going to overwrite that jewelry gold. Say yes to that. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of you. I don't need you. Anything that says glass, I'm going to not use. I've changed my mind on that. What are you? You're my regular roughness. Okay. And that one says glass. That one says glass. We're going to lose those. The rest of this should be fine. So if I just drop the red color in here, I think I clicked on something. I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. These are set up where I can mix and match, but so far I'm not really taking advantage of that. I think that's going to look fine. I may touch these so if I switch you to say gold 003, I'm no longer seeing my gold color. I had my gold color in here a second ago. Damn you. Oh, it's just the base color. See, I can mix and match colors like that. I haven't decided. There's so many combinations, though. I can't really set my mind on what I want to do with that. Here, I'm just going to say this is a material preset. And this is just going to be jewelry red. We'll do that. And then we'll save out the shoes and the dress. It's still thinking. Damn it. Damn it, Janet. Am I even on my camera? Man, I'm off center, aren't I? All right, I'm gonna. So I still have to do the worn colors. I'm gonna do that later. So I'm gonna hit save on this and close substance down. And we're impatiently waiting on Daz. Come on, Daz. Wah, wah. There it is. Alrighty, let's turn the ivory off. That's what's dragging me down. Also, let me turn the the CMS off so we can save stuff faster. So let's knock out the colors of the dress, then we'll knock out the colors of the shoes. Actually, let me save the red shoes before material preset, choose red. Okie dokie. Save the dress. Material preset. Dress red. We don't want to save the simulation settings. All right, is good. Let's knock out the dress colors. So we'll do this. Select all of that, and we'll just run through here. So we'll do the batik first. And there's a little button for doing materials. Uncheck. Okay. There's the dots. Again, remember to get that simulation off. All right, what's next? I don't think I got black yet. Where's black? There's black. It got hidden. I couldn't see it. Dang it. I gotta keep remembering. I can do this button thing. Black. Mm, what do we got next? Paisley. Uncheck. Accept. Pale green. That's kind of ugly. But that may just be me. I think I saw that on the site where I was getting the dress references from. How many spaces do I have in black? Feels like I got 2 in there. Dang it. I probably have 2 in paisley too. Anyhow, I have to rename those. What is this? Pale green. Did I already do that? I haven't done pale green yet, have I? Okay, I inadvertently got 2 spaces in here somewhere, so we'll rename that. Right there. Also, do I have 2 spaces in paisley? I can't tell. It looks like there might be. Yeah, there's an extra space in paisley as well. I think batik is fine, black is fine, dots is fine. All right, we are on. I have the feeling I'm missing one. White, white. We need white. There we go. That's the 8th color. White, white, baby. There you are, white. It looks like gray. Because that's just the way you do white in Dazzy land. I might lighten that up. We'll see how it goes. White, white, baby. Okay. Uncheck all simulation settings. Okay, should be good. All right, let's knock out the shoes. We have the gold and the red done, so I have 4 more colors on that. I think like the turquoise. We did the tan. I haven't done the black yet. Where's the black? There's the black. Shoes black. Okay, we did the red, tan, and turquoise and white. Oops, cancel that. I didn't capitalize that right. I had a capital A in there. We don't want a capital A, T-A-N. There we go. That's better. Uncheck. No, I don't have to uncheck simulation settings with the shoes. Turquoise. I'm going to copy that because Chris can't spell turquoise. That didn't drop in. Let's try that again. That's not dropping for whatever reason. Sometimes that happens. And then the white. I'm having the same issue. So just grab that one. All right, and then let's do the jewelry. I'm going to reset that to the gold. There we go. And then we'll just swap these maps out and get those set up. Base color was the gold. Let's do, I'm just going to say black. Jewelry black. And accept that. And then move on to, I want to call that one brass. And with a brass, I don't think I need a tan. If I have a tan in here. Chartreuse, Chris can't spell chartreuse, so we're going to copy that. Lavender, silver, turquoise. Did I? Lavender, red. I already did the red. Silver. And when I get these done, we're going to call it a day. Cancel that because I didn't do that name right. I wasn't paying attention. Nope, that's shoes. Let's try that. And turquoise. Yeah, once again, I gotta copy that. Alrighty, so I got the basic mats. I still need to do the worn versions, so I'll take care of those later. Um, let's go ahead and set something up. Did I have a shoe color I wanted to use with? You know what? I'm just gonna put the black shoes on there. And we can grab all the jewelry. And apply the lavender to that. And that should have applied to all of those, I think. Let's see how this is looking. Do I want to maybe make lavender shoes? I might make lavender shoes. I may do that. Or do I want to just go with like I don't know. I'm not sure. Uh let's control R this. See how we're looking. You know what I do need to do? We still need to do an undone version, so we're going to get in here and I'm going to try to do that real quick and save it. Anyhow, I think this is looking fine. I think maybe I will make some lavender shoes. Um, is my displacement map on here? I can't tell. Did I lose my displacement map? There should be there, right? There it is. I might just have to punch it up because it's looking a little subdued. Anywho, I'm gonna quickly save this as an undone version of the dress and hopefully, and then we'll call it a day there. So we're gonna come into scene. I'm just gonna double check my identifier, sassy heat wave dress. Excellent. Cancel that. We're gonna come over here and say undone. Let's do that. Let's come over here. I'm going to save it right about there, except it's going to say undone, and I don't want to overwrite that one. So let's do that. There we go. We're going to save you. This is the Genesis 8 stuff. We'll go over to the Genesis 9. Right there. I'm going to say undone on that. And save that. And put undone right here. This stuff is all blank because I have the CMS turned off. So accept that. It's writing all the morphs. All right, now we're going to get rid of there's little attachments back here that hold the knot together. We're going to delete those out. Tool settings, right here, knot attachments. Select those. Geometry editing, delete selected polygons, say yes. All right, I'm going to run the sim and we should see that fall apart if it's all going well. I might need to lighten up the settings so it falls apart better. We'll try that. Cancel that. Let's come over here. Let's select. I can't read this stuff. Tie. And I'm going to set the dynamic strength to 1 on all of those. And then we'll run this and see if it works better. That's what it's supposed to do. I think is it still getting stuck in there? No, it's falling apart. Yay. The collar's still a little stiff, so it's holding it all together still. All right, let's save this again now with the modified geometry. My Morse are still probably working at this point. So I'm going to overwrite that. Dress undone G9. Yes. You are sassy heatwave. You are dress undone G9. Save that. Should be good. Hopefully, when I open it up later, the Morse will still work. We'll see. It's about half the time it doesn't quite work. Anyhow, with that, we're going to call it a day. So thank you all for being here. Let's find somebody to raid. And of course, it is Saturday, so we should be back tonight for the Saturday night social. Storm doesn't come until overnight. Um, so we should be good. Hopefully Charles is still has power. He may get the storm a little earlier than us. Anyhow, where are we? That's YouTube. Hey, if anybody's on YouTube, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're on Twitch, feel free to stick around and join the raid. Let's see who's on the Twitch first. I'm going to go down to the bottom. Rift Curver is on. Loki Uke is on. I'm looking for one of the art friends. I'm looking for the smaller. Okay, let's come up from here. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. Um, I didn't see Toilet. I did see Riv Critter. I guess we can go over and say hang out with Riv Critter. I'm just making sure. Taddy is on. Taddy's on. There we go. Let's go. Let's go hang out with Taddy. Our usual. So anyhow, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. If you're on Twitch, feel free to join the raid. Here, let's do the stuff. Check out Charles. Doesn't actually stream, but you can check out his Discord. I do have a Discord. If you want to join, feel free if you haven't already. If you post stuff in the galleries, we tend to share it Saturdays at 8 p.m. That's tonight, Eastern Time, for the Saturday Night Social. It's a Discord chat. It's an art share. It's an old cartoon. I sell at Daz. Feel free to buy my shit. There we go. And then if you want to stick around for the raid, that would be awesome. If you're not a subscriber, you can use that raid call. If you are a subscriber, thank you, and you get to use the sub raid call. There we go. And let's do this /raid. I'm gonna have to copy and paste to Taddy Bidet because who the hell can actually spell bidet? Seriously, it's like French. Nobody can actually spell French. We know that. Anyhow, I hope you all have, if I don't see you tonight, I hope you have a good rest of a Saturday. I hope everybody survives the storm. Did I not start the raid? What the hell? I did start the raid. All right, excellent. Cool. Okay, I'm copying my raid call. And I hope to see you tonight. And if I don't, I hope you have a good rest of a Saturday or Sunday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hasta la vista, baby.